I'm Lauren Grace. I have loved stories ever since I was a child and stayed up past my bedtime to read fairy tales under the covers. As a teenager, I began writing an epic tale that arose from a wonderful dream. Years later, that tale has become thousands of pages of two very different book series that I am attempting to complete and publish. Now, I'm sharing my journey on camera and have a lot of things to share with you about my life as a writer, as well as helpful tips and projects, and how I live a life full of love, laughter, and fantasy in a way that sparks the imagination. I will be revealing more about myself and my adventures each week. So join me as I fulfill a lifelong dream of finishing both book series, and come along on a quest to live magically. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to our recap of 2024 and what we have in store for 2025. We thought that we would wish you guys a happy new year and then talk to you a little bit about what happened in our 2024, what we learned from it, and what we are taking with us into 2025. First off, to recap 2024,
one of the more significant things to happen this year was we sold our business that we worked in for around 15 or 16 years. So we ended up selling the business back in June, and then that's when we started planning. We'd already been planning this YouTube channel, and we'd already been planning this kind of content, but that's when we started putting together all the pieces to go into this. Like the most significant change in sort of our business life that I could think of that happened in the last year. Because it's very hard to do one thing for 15 years and then just you're not doing that anymore. You were in charge of a business, you were in charge of something, you had people who depended on you, and then suddenly, like overnight, that's just gone. And it's great in a sense, but it is terrifying in another sense because you're giving up sort of like the lifestyle you knew for a lifestyle you don't. So I'd say that's a significant change that happened to me in 2024 I'd like to open up with.
Yeah, I'd also say probably that's something that has been like a lifetime change and a life lesson that we learned. We're both very creative people, and we always knew that. And we went into a business that was not creative at all and was just an ill fit for us. And we were just two creative pegs trying to fit into a round hole, and it just didn't work. And it was kind of soul crushing, I would say. I don't know. It feels almost embarrassing to be doing something that you're not meant to be doing. And like you don't want to associate yourself with that thing. So for us, that was the business world. I actually like business, but I'm more like of an entrepreneurial spirit. So we finally bit the bullet, made the decision to change, and I think we've been very happy with the results. Obviously, we're in the very beginning of our YouTube channel, but one of the other things I've done this year is grown my online community greatly. So I probably have like well over 10,000 members in my online community at this point over various social media platforms, and it's been very inspiring to show myself how capable I was of learning things and excelling at things that are difficult. I have a fertility platform, and that has been very fulfilling. It's kind of been wonderful to reach out just in general and know that there are so many kindred spirits out there if only you look for them. So that's something that building my online community has shown me, and it's been very fulfilling and beautiful, and I've made so many friends and just like wonderful, beautiful, kind, loving people. I also have learned a little bit the hard way about having an online presence. There are people out there who are just very unkind and very miserable, and misery loves company, and they fixate on you or just wish you ill for no reason. People will see your face or hear something you have to say or just hear about you and decide that they don't like you. Okay, that's everyone's prerogative, but it's just nice to go to places where you like what's being done rather than to sit and stew in a kind of negative misery and spread it around and follow people and say bad things. So I know everybody online has this kind of experience to an extent, and I have been learning to deal with that. My mother helped me a lot when this was happening. I could talk to her, and she told me, just be who you are and do your best, and people will see the real you. And so I thought that was some of the best advice I've ever been given. I followed it and it worked. So my community is strong and thriving and loving and kind and smart and just like amazing. So that's been something that happened in 2024 that I thought was like very special and very meaningful for me.
The next thing I could think of, while still saying in kind of the positive things that happened in the last year, that was very significant was I'm an actor. I'm sort of wanting to be an actor. I don't know where the dividing line is between actually being an actor and wanting to be an actor is, but I suppose I am an actor. I auditioned for, got a call back and got cast in my first play. I had never auditioned for a play before. And immediately I got a call back and cast in it almost like the same night. But I did end up meeting some fantastic people and learning a lot. And I was really proud of my performance and really proud of what I accomplished in that play. And then that led to being cast in something else for the San Diego Fringe Festival, which was a lot of fun, very chaotic fun. And again, met some, they're just the cast and crew, possibly some of whom who may be watching this, I don't know, but they were all just fantastic and great people. Got to hang out with my friends for a couple of weeks, and that was amazing. And the other thing I could think of in my acting journey was getting to be on stage at the Old Globe in San Diego, which is one of the two big theaters in San Diego, arguably one of the bigger theaters in America.
The Old Globe is one of the bigger theaters in the world.
Yeah, so I got to be on stage a couple of times there during Henry VI, which is a Shakespeare play. So I got to be a clergyman and say one line, and it was a very proud moment of mine. And Lauren was there the first time I did it, and it was very fun. And it was a very, very proud moment. And since then, I've been sort of the king of callbacks. I've been called back to a lot of shows. This year's going to be a year where I take that a lot more seriously, where I start auditioning for more significant plays and more significant TV shows and movies and stuff like that, and where I really want to develop like my reel and my resume, so to speak. I did actually want to mention that I did also get called to audition for the Old Globe just for their entire year. They have a casting call for the entire year, and getting a chance to go to that was amazing. I went right before and after two very accomplished theater actors here in San Diego. So it was very thrilling to just be able to be around such truly talented people. And so that was a big highlight of my year. And everybody at the Old Globe was fantastic, phenomenal people. So.
And what you won't tell people is that David's extremely talented and dedicated, and everybody loves him. So that's just who he is. He's always very popular and beloved wherever he goes, and he's very dedicated. So I'm excited to see where his acting path takes him. But they'll have to fight with me because I also want a lot of his time. So
that's one of the big problems with doing local theater, especially, is the dedication of time is nuts.
And I think anybody who's an actor or knows an actor or who has been around the theater will know the kind of hilarity and problems that can ensue. A lot of the stumbling blocks along the way to becoming an actor. There are a lot of roadblocks, basically. It's really difficult. A lot of theaters like to cast the same people over and over and over and over again. We actually had people who were theater goers who said, I stopped going to that theater because it was just like the same people would be in this, like 4 different plays. And she's like, I kind of got a little sick of that. And I'm like, that's like me when I watch movies and I see, oh, so-and-so in the 20th movie of the year. And instead of like introducing this great new talent. So to me, I'm, if that becomes a greater roadblock, we may look into producing some of our own things, because I'm the kind of person that if there's a roadblock, I'll take the bull by the horns. I'm very creative. I'm very capable. I can do a ton of different things. So can David. And we'll just make our own play. We'll make our own whatever it is. That's just something that I've learned. Well, that's something that life has taught me. Like, if it doesn't exist, create it.
Yeah, it's not something we cover a lot on the channel, but I thought we were summing up our year. It was a big part of my year.
I also wanted to take a minute and let everyone know that we fell behind a little bit on Advent. This was our very first Advent we've ever done. We only launched our channel in October. So to go from making our first video, like a video a week or 2 videos a week, to doing a video every single day for 25 days during the holidays was a extremely astronomically tall order. And I'm very proud of us, both David and myself, for filming as much as we did, editing as much as we did, and getting out as many things as we could. So we still have a few vlogs coming out. They're going to come out a little bit after this, not in order, but I'm going to put them in order on our Vlogmas playlist. So if you want to watch the playlist at some point in the future, if you're continuing on it, you can just go on the channel, hit Vlogmas 2024 or Advent 2024, and watch the entire thing in order. We won't get to 25 videos, but we got pretty far, and I'm pretty proud of what we did for being so new. Our goal for the YouTube channel was to learn a lot, up the quality, up the beauty, up the value, up the entertainment factor really quickly. And I feel like I wanted to have a steep trajectory to quality, and something that was compelling to watch and that people wanted to watch and that I wanted to produce and be a part of. So I think we did a good job starting that, because we definitely threw ourselves into the deep end and learned a lot. I'm also really proud because even though I've worked with brands successfully over the past couple of years, this was my first official collaboration on the YouTube channel and related to the YouTube channel. So I'm very proud of that. I'm really looking forward in 2025, which we'll get to next, to working with premium brands that reflect my values of excellence and quality. So that's a big goal of mine for 2025. But as far as Advent goes, we did our best.
Yeah. We had some other issues came up too, but an issue that came up was I got sick in the middle of December, and I do all the editing. So the editing actually wasn't too much of a problem, but it was filming content because I literally just couldn't breathe without coughing. So a lot of the episodes that are coming up, I'm stifling a cough, or I have to edit around, choking to death basically. So now I'm feeling a lot better, but It was really a cold that stood the test of time. Unfortunately, it really derailed our plans to put out all those episodes every single day. So, but like I said, we do have a few more coming. So, and I think next year we'll be able to knock it all out or film early. I don't know. Like
there's a bunch of different options.
A, we've never filmed a vlog before. B, we are learning how to video edit as we go.
And also, I think towards the end, I started also learning to edit and editing, and I'm not as quick as David yet, but I'm used to editing for Instagram and those sorts of things. So I think I'm going to be able to help more. We may end up finding an editor online, so who knows? We'll let you know how that goes.
So of note for me in the last year, was I started a sort of weight loss, body composition, nutrition journey a couple of years ago. I'd say like end of 2023 is when I started going nuts on it. I had injured my neck and gone to physical therapy for a couple of months a few summers ago. And that sort of led to just trying to become a little bit healthier and trying to lose some weight and get in better shape and stuff like that. And then our joke was that like, hey, we also never know if I'm going to be an actor when someone is going to ask me to take my shirt off. And I'm like, yeah, what are the chances of that happening? Literally the first play I got cast in, I had to take my shirt off. So there you go.
It was like first, second, and third. Like so many people wanted to cast you as like the kissy husband.
Yeah.
You were that was a film that you were going to be auditioning for too. So he got someone requested that he auditioned for a film that was going to take place like on a boat somewhere, and the role he was auditioning for was going to be like this husband that had to be shirtless and make out with this gal, and we were like, gosh, can't we find anything where you're not that cutie pie husband who has to kiss all the girls and take your shirt off?
Yeah, so no, apparently not. And
he's got a lot of experience with that sort of thing. So
yes. That's what really kicked this into high gear, is that injury. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I can't move. Like every time I turned my neck, it hurt. And then my back hurt, my arms hurt. Everything just hurt because of this injury in my neck. So getting that cleared up. And then I decided to start losing weight on top of that, just to kind of like ease the pressure on your joints. Because when you have more weight on, it sort of adds extra pressure to your joints and to all that stuff.
Also, I think your acting coach told you in the most like sweet, loving way, you know, actors are in really good shape. And it was like this sweet way of telling him, like, you know, you might want to consider that you might get cast a little bit more if you're in really good shape.
And that was a prior acting coach. So any acting coach who may watch this at this point, that's not you. Don't worry, you didn't say that.
She was very sweet though.
Yeah.
She was so funny saying that, and she's right. She's not wrong. She was, you know, she's doing her best to give tips.
What I ended up doing was getting macros calculated, and just I had developed a whole system, and it ended up working. I ended up dropping somewhere at this point around 40 pounds. This month being sick and it being the holidays, I've just like thrown the diet out for a couple of weeks, so to speak. I'm not, you know, doing as good of a job keeping up on it, but I'm still trying to kind of like just be moderate about everything. But all in all, I've lost about 40 pounds. And so, yeah, and I'm feeling a lot better, and just movement is easier and everything like that. So I credit that to sheer willpower of tracking what you eat and paying attention to what you eat every day. And also the tonal, which is the workout machine we use. So at this point, that's all I'm doing as far as exercising is the tonal, and a walk every other day, which I started a few months ago because running's not great for my neck. And I used to love to run. I don't run anymore. But yeah, that was, you know, that's the continuing journey of my body composition and health, you know.
And I think we're going to probably end up making like a longer video specifically just on David's transformation, because I think it could help a lot of people who want to do the same thing have a blueprint to follow, because he was just so incredibly dedicated and successful.
And if I could do it, anybody can do it.
We'll talk a little bit more about that later. There's one other reason that it was very difficult for us to finish Advent this year, and that's that I lost my mother on Christmas Eve. I haven't stopped crying much, and she's been ill for quite some time. But this last maybe year, 6 months, there have been more wet eye days than dry eye days. So if I start crying from talking about this, I'll turn off the camera and then I'll collect myself and then I'll start filming again. One of the things that we're going to do for 2025 is dedicate 2025 to the memory of my mother. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to do that now. For those of you who've experienced loss, the loss of a parent or a sibling or a dear friend or a spouse or other family member, or God forbid, a child, you'll know the horrific pain you go through, and how long it takes to get over, if you ever get over. For me, it really helps to talk about it. I don't like not talking about it. It's weird. It's weird for me when people don't talk about it. So I prefer to talk about it with family, with friends, with, other people who've gone through something similar, whatever. I think not talking about it has kind of upset me. So I prefer to talk about it and to talk about my mother and my feelings, etc. I think it's better for you to do that. And I think it's important. So for those of you who have lost someone, I truly, truly feel very sorry for you, for your loss. It's horrible. And the staring down the face of the future is very difficult right now. I lost my mom on Christmas Eve. It's New Year's Day right now. It's hard to articulate how I feel. And when I think about the future, and when I look at my, Christmas presents or a plate that I put out that reminds me of her, it's just incredibly, incredibly difficult. So my thoughts are with everyone who's experienced something similar or who is about to experience something similar. I wish life wasn't like this. But we have to look forward to the future. So for 2025, I'm definitely going to dedicate this year to the memory of my mother and to improving myself, improving my life, which is something that I already started doing this year and that I am really looking forward to doing even more in the future. I'm happy to announce the theme of 2025 for our YouTube channel, and I'm going to do another episode on it more in depth coming up. But the theme of 2025 is the Renaissance. And yes, that is a combination of my name, Lauren, and the word Renaissance. And the concept is what you think it is. So in the actual Renaissance, there was a rebirth and refocus on the arts and humanity and medicine and science and all of those things. So for me, the Renaissance is going to be a resurgence of focus on my health and my fertility and my longevity and beauty, all of those things. Also, my writing, and probably also our home situation, because it's a little in limbo right now with how our house is kind of like has certain parts of it are broken and need to be fixed, that sort of thing. So that's basically the theme of 2025. And at the end of 2025, we are going to do a ski trip, because my mother's dream before she got her lung disease, she loved skiing. She was an excellent skier. Her and her girlfriends always said that the amount of enjoyment you got from skiing was directly proportional to how cute your outfit was. So in honor of my mother, who never got to ski again, and who always talked about wanting to, we are going to go on a ski trip at the end of the Renaissance next year, maybe for Christmas, maybe for January, February, we don't know, but in a celebration of the culmination of the Renaissance. Hopefully I will be in better shape, able to wear specific ski clothes, be able to ski without any kind of physical issues or fitness issues. So that's our big goal. And that is going to be the culmination of the Renaissance. Hopefully there'll be other great things about it as well along the way. We're going to be doing an update every week or month, we're not exactly sure, but regular periodic updates on how I'm doing. And since David did so well on his transformation, he is going to be in charge of my nutrition and fitness, that sort of thing. So go ahead.
I'll be guiding things. I'll be guiding things along. I'm going to be using advice and tips and tricks that worked for me and see if we can translate them. We have the tonal in our office, and that's probably going to be a part of it as well, or possibly classes and stuff like that outside of our house as well. If that does help her out, then we'll be doing that. A lot of what I did was count macros, so part of this might be counting macros, or it might just be trying to balance the diet a little bit.
One of the things that we'll be working on is one of my friends gave me access to a blueprint that for fat loss that they've worked on that's evidence-based. So I'm going to be looking into that. We've already started implementing a little bit of that. We've actually already started working on the Renaissance a little bit. This year we've had a little bit of success. I don't know, I think I'm down like 5 pounds or something like that, which is really good. And this is very helpful, my Aura ring. I have the Gen 4 and it's been tracking my sleep so far. You need to wear it for like a month or more before it tells you a lot of different things that you need to know. You need to track multiple cycles. You need to track a lot of your sleep. You need to track your heart rate variation and stuff for weeks to months. So the longer you wear it, the more data it has, the more helpful it can be. Hopefully that's going to be something that's really helpful on this journey. I was kind of buying it as partially all of those things, but also as a pedometer. It kind of already recognizes that I probably have sleep apnea, which is not a surprise. When you gain weight, a lot of the time you get sleep apnea. So hopefully losing weight will help with that, as well as other health concerns. Hopefully it will help with fertility, that sort of thing. So that's going to be our big push.
So yeah, and we may go into more detail on that in a future episode as well, once we have more of like a plan in place.
We're also going to be looking at writing. And my big goal with writing is to get book 1 finished and published this year. That is a huge goal for me because I am a perfectionist. I'm also, one of the things that I think I'll be able to do relatively quickly is start putting out my, for lack of a better word, I'm going to call it my comic book or graphic novel. And hopefully you guys will be able to see the very first issue. I was hoping that that was going to actually be my Christmas gift to everyone, but the universe had other plans for me. Content for January this month is going to be a lot of clearing out, exercise content probably. We're going to do a giant garage clear out, some organization, a little more Marie Kondo. If you have any tips for a great garage organization, small home living, that sort of thing, feel free to share them in the comments with us and we will try to incorporate and utilize them in our big garage clear out episode for January. That I can't think of anything else that we're going to be specifically doing, but each month is going to be kind of thematic and follow a different prong on the Renaissance tree. The only other thing I was going to say was that we had a spa night for New Year's Eve and it was pretty awesome. I'd actually suggest that people think about doing something like that on New Year's Eve rather than go out and party and get hammered. Do something to pamper yourself. David wanted to clean that house really badly. I think that was actually a really cool idea to make things just look neater. And then we also wanted to just work on our health and longevity and anti-aging and all of that. So it was a very relaxing, nice way to spend New Year's Eve. So that's our suggestion for a different kind of New Year's Eve where you're looking forward to positive changes that you're going to make in the year ahead. Hopefully, the universe's plans for me for 2025 are going to be a lot brighter and a lot better, and we are going to work very diligently to ensure that we do have a brighter future in 2025. And we're really excited to have you guys join us. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you follow your dreams, and this year you mold yourselves into the form that you take in your dreams.